Now, as we speak, the House of Lords is once again threatening to defeat the government over welfare reform. This time, peers, led by the Paralympian Tanni Grey-Thompson, are flexing their muscles over a plan to replace the disability living allowance with a much more rigorous system. Ministers say hundreds of millions of pounds are simply being wasted. Our social affairs editor, Jackie Long, reports.
Life has changed a lot for Amanda Knight. It could be about to change again. Diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 11 years ago, her career as a civil servant had to be brought to an end and she's now unable to work.
I hate having to ask for help all the time. I think I should be able to do this. I could do this.
Once?
Yeah.
Disability living allowance of £300 a month buys her, she says, vital support to make life a little easier.
This isn't the life I planned. It isn't the life I expected. And I don't think it's the life I deserve. If I can't manage to carry on having a good life and be comfortable and do things like a normal person. It feels so they're targeting an easy target.
The money goes to providing extra heating as Amanda is badly affected by the cold and helps her run a special Motability car. She understands the need for change, but questions how it's being done.
I get the feeling at the moment they're just trying to rush it through, like a lot of the policies, because they want to be seen to be doing something, to making the cuts, because we need to make cuts.
And what's your fear personally on that?
A lot of them will be a mistake.
And that's a feeling shared by some in the Lords, today trying to halt the government's plan to replace DLA and implement a new system of testing claimants.
Disabled people will suffer first, and then their families, followed quickly by the NHS and councils.
Devising a fairer way to share the burden of the proposed dramatic cut in DLA resources would also help the government ensure it doesn't permanently undermine disabled people and carers' trust and confidence in them. And it does really mean what it has said, that we are all in this together.
The government says its new personal independence payment will stop the rapid increase in the numbers claiming disability living allowance. At the moment, more than 3 million people claim the benefit. The changes would affect around 2 million claimants between 16 and 64. It currently costs taxpayers about £12 billion a year. And the government says under its reforms, around 500,000 fewer people will get the benefit, but the most disabled will get more.
We have, at the moment, some £600 million a year going out in overpayments. That's not acceptable. We have to have a benefit that is better targeted at people who really need support.
Amanda Knight is unconvinced by the government's pledge that the most vulnerable will not be hit. And she's not alone. The welfare reform bill has already suffered 4 defeats during its passage through the Lords. Expectations are there may be more to come.
Well, let's get to our political correspondent, Michael Crick, who's in the Lords lobby at Westminster. What exactly is happening right now, Michael?
Well, earlier on this evening, an amendment which would have proposed that claimants' doctors should be involved in the assessment process was withdrawn after assurances by the Welfare Minister Lloyd Freud that the government would be a lot more flexible, would take on the concerns of critics of these measures, and so that amendment was withdrawn. Now, at the moment, the Lords are debating another amendment which would institute a review of these proposed personal independence payments, and a review involving other disability groups, and a review that would also involve some form of pilot scheme before it actually went ahead totally. Now, that vote is expected within the next few minutes, but it's touch and go as to how it'll go. I understand that actually Liberal Democrats are likely to be pretty loyal on this vote this evening compared with last week, so then it would be down to a combination of Labour and crossbenchers.
Right. Well, I mean, this is an extraordinary knife fight going on here, where the champion seems to be Tanni Grey-Thompson. I'm just looking at her Twitter site, which is absolutely awash with dispute by other people in the disability movement who are damning her for withdrawing the amendment, and then others saying, well, trust her, she obviously trusts the minister. There's quite a lot at stake here.
There is, and of course this is the way the Lords operates. You know, ministers make promises in debate, people withdraw their amendments, and so on. And one of the concerns that the opposition people have got here tonight is that they don't want this vote to be too late, because the fear is that a lot of their people, especially crossbenchers, will go home, because they can go home when they like, of course, and they come here for a few hours and they decide it's now time to go off. So it's important from the opposition's point of view to hold this vote relatively early, really within the next few minutes before peers go off to dinner. If that doesn't happen, then it's most unlikely, I think, to get voted through.
Michael Crick at the Lords, and if we get that vote, we'll bring it to you later in the programme.